Hey, Mama Monique, Noliana Malipaek, or Noliana Malipan. If you're just one person, you came. I'm glad that you came. Nita Lawinzi, Yopi Kushal Situkwe. My name is Latonian Dunson, and my full government name is Latonian Jasmine Dunson. I am a current resident of Cheswold. I'm no longer in Newark, Delaware, and I'm no longer in Laurel, Delaware. I am in Cheswold. So, thank you for joining me for my Nanticoke heritage in Lenape language nest. And I'm just going to get started. Today's date is June 24, 2025. And I have been going over the 6 segments of the prayer. This is the last part, the 6th segment. So I'm going to start in Muncie, Delaware, then go to Lenape, Delaware, then to Nanticoke. Lofi, Anishik, Elamilion, Yon, Kwai, Kishkwik, Walk, New Mouse Walk on them. Anishik, 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 Anishik. Lapi, Onishi, Elamilion, Yun, Kwai, Kishkwik, Oak, Nib Mouse Walken. Wanishi, 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 Wanishi. And then in Nanticoke, Lapi Willian, Elimilian, Yon Kwe Kisquik, Walk, Nib Mouse Walken. Willian, 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 Willian. And that just means thank you again for giving me this day in my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now this is the last part of the prayer. It's very important. Praying in all 4 directions. The north, the east, the south, the west. Willian, 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 Willian. And spreading around that good medicine. Wingy Moscow. And other medicines as well, depending on what you're using in your prayer. Even tobacco prayers, not the one smoking, no nicotine, no drugs, just pure good medicine. In this final part of the prayer, Sasha Stone uses her Muncie terminology, and I, Latonian, used my own Nanticoke reconstructions and some borrowed grammar and words. I, Latonian, personally thought that my Nanticoke ancestors did not have different language from Lenape and Muncie. So upon learning, discovered that the science behind the speech was just describing things. People in different regions described similar things differently and had variety in pronunciations. I equate the phenomenon to the English word purse, which can be described as pocketbook, shoulder or handbag, pouch or bag. If I walk around with my purse and some man or woman tells me to place my bag on the table, I won't be confused. I know my purse is also a bag. Now, we've seen this example. I didn't write it here, but we've seen this example in the previous prayer when we was talking about insects and Muncie. But insects slightly changed pronunciation meant snakes and Nanticoke. So sometimes that happens. Okay, so because of the description, it could be an insect or it could be a snake. Both creepy crawlies. Okay, but if you like snakes, you wouldn't call them creepy crawlies. If you like insects, you wouldn't call them creepy crawlies. So there you go. In hindsight, I can see why some Nanticoke speakers may opt to say wing, spelled W-I-N-G, or wing, spelled W-I-N-K, for good instead of wheel, wilit, as the term for head is also wheel, such as wheeler, his or her head. Also interpreted as king in the Nanticoke vocabulary of Mrs. Mulberry and Willakoko, king last night. And she herself was referenced as a queen by the foreign spectators. One Nanticoke Bawa de Lenape informant of my own time, 2025, told me that good morning can be said as Weshbawing, and he speaks the R dialect. The informant is Drew Ravis, but also goes by Drew Shupta Ravis. I don't want to butcher his name, so this is Drew S. Ravis. So Drew. But yes, he speaks the R dialect, and he is Lenape, but speaks the R dialect, so it's like Lenape with the R instead of Lenape with the L. So he said, good morning, Weshbawing. Weshbawing. Again, following the pattern of prayer from stone, I borrowed Wenami terms such as Lopi, Mili, Eli, Kwe to complete the prayer segment. I liked how New England speakers would say, you do good to me, for thank you. So I translated that into Nanticoke as Willian. Morphemic stems for life or for living, taking from Muncie, Aussie. Morphemic stem for going along or among is historic Nanticoke seen at the beginning of words like river in Nanticoke, Pimtuk. So Pimtuk, along or among the trees, also spelled various ways, which is interesting because Pimtuk is just a description. It's just saying along or among the trees. It's not really saying river. It's just describing, what's along or among the trees. So it is well known that the word for river commonly is said as sipi or sipu, like in the Mississippi River. The morpheme for among or along, a location, seen in the word for star as well. I underline the morpheme here. So you can see Pomalongwak, stars, and then in historic Nanticoke, you can see that it's initially at the beginning of a word. So that morpheme, boom, it could be beam or pom. Either three, it's at the beginning of words. So it means like along something or among something. So, and then I give us the historic terms: Pumwiye, star; Pumlongs, star; and Pumwiye, star. Additionally, here is a chart I shared to cover some of the meanings of suffix endings seen in this segment. So in Muncie, Delaware, and Wenami, Delaware, and then in Nanticoke, I obviously borrowed some endings from Wenami. Some other Nanticoke speakers, when they have done their reconstructions, may have borrowed the same spellings from Muncie, and that's fine and that's alright. I can still understand when I see it, hear it, read it. So let me go back. So yeah, so they just sound like at the end of a word, ah, on, t, k, and then we have the onk one, which is R exclusive, the enk one, which is R inclusive, ek, you, plural, so it's like you all, and then Hittite, they or them. So let's go to the historic vocabulary. So pretty much in this part of the prayer for day, we have key squeak, and I got that from Keys. I got that from Heck Welders Nanticoke informant. And then for good, I also got that from the Nanticoke informant from Heck Welder. But of course, understanding the L dialects, I input an L in the middle. So separated Wilit. So some closing remarks. Okay. I really appreciate you guys coming to learn with me. I believe the student and teacher is the same. So, my first name is Latonian, and I'm very infamous for making people for making people understand that I do have a middle name, and somehow, I don't know how, but when my middle name is eliminated just to Latonian Dunson, there's some people out there trying to make it like I'm two different people, but I'm not. I'm one and the same. So if you see just Latonian Dunson, or if you see Latonian Jasmine Dunson, I am the same person. Okay? So some closing remarks. Lastly, big thanks for coming to learn with me, using the lead example of Muncie and the prayer shared by Sasha Stone. I, Latonian, am a mixed race woman. I am the natural born daughter of the Nanticoke man, Anthony Wilson Wright. Now, this is just to get it out there. My father has at least 2 other cousins with the same name. The only way you can tell them apart is they have different parents. Number 1. Number 2, my father is Anthony Wilson Wright, and the other ones don't have Wilson. Okay, so yes, so that's how you can tell which father is the father of Latonian. So Anthony Wilson Wright. Okay, also known as Antonio as well for Anthony. So yes, and I am the second great granddaughter of John M. Harmon and Ethel Bell Ricketts, and I am the third great granddaughter of Emily Caroline Johnson and David W. Wright. My Turtle Clan Muncie ancestry is through a Miller ancestor on my maternal side, relayed by a cousin who's now deceased, who shared the ancestor. Marie Williams, Two Clouds. I am the great granddaughter of John Lester Pitts Sr. from the Nanticoke and Lenape on my mother's grandfather's side, John L. Pitts Sr. So the L stands for Lester. And then he's related to the Websters, Pierce, Golds, Cuff, spelled Cuffee, or just Cuff, Cuff, and other are his relations in southern New Jersey. So despite being listed on tribal genealogy website under my first and last name, female Latonian Dunson, I am not yet a tribal member. Not only will I require my full birth name recognized, female Latonian Jasmine Dunson, but my rights to speak my language, learn, make mistakes, which I make plenty, get corrected, which I get corrected plenty, grow and learn. The student and the teacher are the same. I spent all of my school and college years learning white and black history from pre-K to 2016, my last college attendance. I went to an HBCU, which stands for Historic Black College at Delaware State University, and the college opposite of that at the University of Delaware. I will not apologize for where I place my intentions, nor will I apologize for where I pay attention to things, okay? So people who intentionally spread hate, chaos, confusion, and disruption of my peace and mental health get removed. Sincerely, Ms.Dunson. And it has been unfortunate. I'm not going to say their names, but they know who they are. Okay? Because just my character, if I'm talking about you, I don't got no problem to say it to you. So the ones I had to remove, and I let them know why I removed them. God bless them. I wish them well. But just don't come over here and disturb my peace. Okay? Sincerely, Ms. Dunson. I said it. Now moving on. And as a note, Native Americans are the only racial group in America that has to prove who we are. We cannot, according to the government, sell or perform our own cultural and heritage namesakes without being certified and documented as Native. Being a Native American mixed with African American, it amazes me still how I don't have to prove how black I am or how enough I am of it. I wonder why. This is rhetorical. I don't wonder why. I know why. But, my point is, I don't have to prove that I'm an African American woman. But somehow I always have to prove that I'm a Native American one. So I am mixed with other things as well. However, this group is about my Nanticoke heritage and Lenape language nest. Mentioning anything else is and should be done with intentions to connect and to educate. Otherwise, I don't make mention of it. Take care. See you again. Awinatu. Peace. That's Chumptung, Maryland slang. Okay? Awinatu. Pishkanawash. And that's in the Nanticoke LYN dialect of Mrs. Mulberry's influence. Okay? So how I know that? Okay, you have to listen to the New England speakers. Okay? So I remember in one video prior I said the New England way of saying see you again. Because they say Pushkanosh. But down here, Chomptong, Maryland, using Mrs. Mulberry's influence, Pishkanawash. Okay? And I went into peace. Again, I am Latonian Ms.Dunson, and I am a resident of Cheswold, Delaware. I am no longer in Newark, Delaware, and I'm no longer in Laurel, Delaware. Okay? I'm situated here in Cheswold, Delaware, and it's been an experience. I'm not surrounded by those beautiful woods like I used to be in Newark, but I'm getting used to it, getting used to the area with my umbrella, protection from the heat. So Latonian's reconstruction background. I once heard it said that one should not speak for the dead. The dead cannot defend themselves. I do my best to keep intact the original way a historic word was documented in Nanticoke. Instead of trying to reinterpret a situation I was not there to witness, I used influences from fluent speakers to gain insights that I otherwise would not have. And to that, I am truly grateful to the Ojibwe and Cree elders still alive and speaking. Their existence helps a lot. This here below is not related to fiction. It is non-fiction based on facts. These bones I carry are not real, but they represent keeping good memories and language of the past into the present and for the future. My future children will know their mama's true religion and Mayaosi, certainty and seven, having certainty of our place in the world and living a long good life. When it comes to my ancestors who were Nanticoke, perhaps I think about them because they are thinking about me. So this is my own picture that I've taken of the bones that I have in my possession. And I put death never departs us, Nanticoke forever. And I have still to this day never heard any Nanticoke who knows their Nanticoke allow anybody else to tell them who they are. We tell them. So that's how I know. Alright, so I also cover because I was born in 1990, December 3rd, 1990. Okay. I found it interesting that in my year, the year of my birth, 1990, that there was a Native American Language Act. So what did the Native American Language Act do? And don't mind the Spanish. For some reason, my web browser is in Spanish, and it's mixed Spanglish, Spanish, and English. Good thing I can speak, read, and write Spanish intermediately. So, más preguntas, it says, what did the what did the Native American Language Act of 1990 do? The Native American Languages Act of 1990, NALA, or NALA, is a U.S. statute that gives historical importance as repudiating past policies of eradicating indigenous languages of the Americas by declaring as policy that Native Americans were entitled to use their own languages. So this is real. At one point in time, my ancestors were forbidden to speak in our own land. I personally believe that there were still people who still could speak, but it was prohibited at one point. So I'm going to be 35 this December. So that's pretty much like 35 years of it being placed in law that us Native Americans have a right to speak our language. And when I learned that, it made me think that my purpose in this world was met in 1990, that I was to be speaking my Native American language. So here I am. So then, don't mind the Spanish, it just says Visión General creada por inteligencia artificial. So like AI, so that's that AI, Gemini, Google stuff they got out these days. So this was generated and came up that the Native American Languages Act, NALA, of 1990, also known as Public Law 101/477, is a U.S. statute that establishes federal policy to support the preservation, protection, and promotion of Native American languages. It reversed past government policies that had sought to suppress Native American languages and recognizes the importance of these languages to Native American cultures and identities. So you can Google that. It's a real thing. It's been going close to 35 years that this law has been in place, and I'm going to be 35 in December. So yes, it's very young, this law. Okay, this is me being me, because I am exactly who I say I am. So this is some images of present and past, what Miss Latonian answers to. And then you see my initial in my name, Latonian J. Dunson. So the J stands for Jasmine. Jasmine with a Z, not an S. Okay, that's my second birth name. It's not my first legal name. It's my second legal birth name. That's been left out by people, and I make sure to put it back because I don't have a birth certificate that says Latonian Dunson. It says Latonian Jasmine Dunson. So, however, on my paperwork, they just sometimes just want my first and last name, so you'll just see Latonian Dunson, female, 91's bro, but a sis. I don't do that. So let's get into it. I'm not pregnant. I'm just showing you that I am who I say I am. So if I can schedule an abortion, if I have an option to abort something, that means I have the ability to get pregnant. So I'm not pregnant. I'm just showing you that I am who I say I am. True blue female. The real deal. A real female. Okay? So yes, I'm not pregnant, but I do have the ability to get pregnant. I healed my womb, and now I'm healing my future. Okay? So for me, at times it feels like I may not be strong in one area of my life, but in another area, yes, so right now my language work has been increasing, and I hope to increase other areas of my life. Sometimes I just have to remove things. So, yeah, but I'm praying for good, compatible, single, sincere future father for my future children. Okay? And I'm also praying for a Lenape, a good man from my own people and speaks good our language. So what I mean by that is this is in my Nanticoke heritage and Lenape language nest. Okay? So keeping to the relevance. So I've seen Lenape walk. I've seen good men among my own people who are happily married and they stand on it. And they are present fathers and openly love, cherish, and respect their wives. I, Latonian, have been looking at their examples and identifying what real men do with women that they love. So big thanks to my right male cousins, like they literally have the last name Wright still, my right male cousins, and other male relations, and to some unrelated men who I watch daily. I am grateful, Ms.Dunson. Then I just go over my heritage. I'm just going to gloss over that. We don't need to see that. But yeah. So if you see on that genealogy website we got, Kuskararok, Mitsuwakit, my parents were listed as married. They were never married, but they were listed as if they were. The same happened to me, their daughter, on my grandmother's obituary. So if you see Latonian or Latonia, my name is Latonian. My first name. Anyway, I'm a female, so Latonian, female. And then it was listed husband, but never married me. Anyway, my grandmother is Janice Elaine Pitts. So Janice E. Pitts. She married a Dunson. That's how I got Dunson. And then she died as a Delise. That's her second married name. So, yeah. Then I cover some more things, and then I just said that my grandmother, so also the same thing that happened to me happened to my grandma. So my grandmother Bertheda also has a middle name, which is Edith, and it's not listed except under her mother, Mildred M. Harmon Cotman. So same thing that happened to my grandma happened to me, but I have a middle name, so does she. So I'm Jasmine, she's Edith. Latonian Jasmine Dunson, Bertheda Edith Cotman, and her mother was Mildred M. Harmon, who married a Cotman. Okay? So my grandmother married Robert Wilson Wright, and that's why my father is Anthony Wilson Wright, also known as Antonio. He goes by both, Anthony and Antonio. Okay? So those are my grandparents. Cover that. And then I've also found it interesting that I have a ancestor, Whittington Flying Squirrel, Shoppanek Johnson. So he had his native name. But one cousin who knows more on the right side of my father is the female cousin I have, named Stacy Bliss, also known as Stacy Ricketts, who also shares third great grandparents with me, who was Emily Carolyn Johnson, and David W. Wright. She provides their photo images, and I have them from my screenshots. She has a lot of images of my family. So I appreciate her being alive because she has a lot of images. She's very knowledgeable about the Wright family clan. Okay, even though I have Dunson, and it's a whole story, but my father is a Wright, so she knows that side of my family. So then we have two clouds, Marie Williams. He was born May 25th, 1992. And then he passed away July 3rd, 2024. So yes, his memorial is coming up very soon. His birthday just passed, and I remembered him, and then his death, this memorial that's coming soon. Today is June 24, 2025, and he passed away in July 3rd, 2022. So then I wrote Ki Ha Kolomause, which just means like how are you in the Muncie. So yeah, so I just said to his mom, thank you for the gift of his voice. He can't call me anymore because he passed away. But to hear him speak the language in Muncie, it means a lot. Thank you, Anishik. I wrote fiction today saying that I had a friend who called me from the grave to speak to me in our language, and then you uploaded his voice, and I had no idea our creator did that. Now, the reason why I wrote that to her, because it was like 10 months ago. So 10 months ago, I had my own apartment. I was by myself, and, you know, just passing the time of what I like to do. I like to write stories. So it was not supposed to be true. It was like a Uber. I never taken an Uber in my life. I always taken Lyft. So that's why I put Uber and not Lyft. So in the Uber, there was somebody who just spoke to me in Muncie. Just said Kiyako Mouse. I'm like, what? And then at the gravesite, there was, you know, calls and hearing voices of, you know, people who passed on but still spoke the language. And so when he came out in this video with his mom sharing his voice, speaking in our language, I really appreciated that. The first time I heard it, I just busted into tears. But yes, he used to call me when he was alive and to speak to me in a language, because he spoke many languages like me. So yes. But yes, God knows I like to work at night. Have never worked during the day, besides the brief time that I used to be a cashier. But other than that, yeah, most night shift jobs. Anyway, yeah, I just show like where I do keep his memories. So something about me, my character is like, when you do good to me, I remember you. Like, I remember the good you do. So just imagine if you don't do good to me. I remember that. So I used to have a habit where I used to write down all the slight people done to me, give their name, the time, the date, everything. But, you know, I don't like doing that no more. So I still block people. I do block and remove. Other than that, yes. So on his birthday, May 25th, 2025, this year, it just passed. So I remembered him, and then I just told him happy birthday out in the universe. And then shared the video of him speaking Muncie. And so yes, my maternal cousin only, Mareed Williams, our shared ancestor is a Miller. Mareed was registered under the Ramapo, spelled two different ways, Muncie Turtle Clan, before his tragic passing. I remember him because he was good to me while he was living. He was also a father of 2 sons and a husband before his life was taken. He followed the ways of the Turtle Clan and practiced Islam as a Muslim. And upon meeting me and finding out our shared religion and ancestry, he spoke to me in all the languages I knew: English, Spanish, Arabic, Lenape, and he would surprise me. I know something, he knew it too. So yes, he was a Muslim, me a Muslima, because Arabic has feminine and masculine. So Muslim is just for the man, Muslima for female woman only. So he also spoke Caribbean patois and slang. That was a difference that I couldn't understand because I didn't speak patois. I didn't understand him when he did that. But when he spoke Spanish, Arabic, Lenape, English, yeah. So this is a screenshot of him, and yes, he's darker than me. He's of a darker complexion, and I remember his words about our people. He would say, our Lenape people now come in many colors. So this is a screenshot that was taken from his own mother's YouTube channel, Beyond the Clouds, where she personally keeps his legacy going. Nishakumakwat, 2 clouds. In his own words, he describes his fight against being discriminated by people. In his own words. So, yeah, just check out the legacy that she's continuing, and Beyond the Clouds. So you can also look up 2 Clouds, Marie Williams, and you'll see the legacy he left behind, and she shares that. Okay. Then you have My Lovely Mom, which they have the same skin complexion and darker than me. So that's my mother. And then, Marion Dunson, Marion Elaine Dunson, Marion E. Dunson. That's my mom. So this is my favorite image of my mommy, because I love the color green. So, yeah. Then that's my mom's mother, Janice, my grandmother, Janice Elaine Pitts. And she married Dunson, then Delise. So she has siblings who have her father's last name Pitts, but they're actually Rosses. So I'm not going to get into that genealogy stuff. I do have, but yes. So my grandmother, her mother, so my great grandmother, Marion Beatrice Ross Pitts, is the reason why so many of her other kids have Pitts, even though they are Ross. But my grandmother is a real Pitts. So she married John Lester Pitts Sr., who was the father of my grandmother, Janice. So, yes. And then we have my second great grandmother, Mary Bell Wilkerson, who married Cortland Ross Sr. And then you have my dad, who was one of the many Anthonys in the Millsboro, Nanticoke community, Sussex County community, here in Delaware. So Anthony W. Wright, Anthony Wilson Wright, also known as Antonio. That's my father, my biological father. And then you have his grandma, Mildred Harmon, who married a Cotman, Virgil W. Cotman. So that's my great grandmother. And then you have the legacy here, that 1881, the reason why we all know we Nanticoke today and Native American today in the state of Delaware. My third great grandparents, so I just put my full name here, Latonian Jasmine Dunson's third great grandparents, David W. Wright and Emily C. Johnson. And then I show that. So my father has many other children, so they're not all listed. I got listed because of that Milton paperwork that showed who my natural father was. And yeah, so they didn't put my middle name, but I do have a middle name. So it's listed female, Latonian Dunson. My full birth name is listed under my mom on my birth certificate. I prefer Jasmine to be added. The screenshot is from my personal phone. Okay. Then I show screenshots of a group that I'm in by myself, me, myself, and I, called Maya Certainty in Islam. Because a lot of my relatives, you guys are Christians, so, I let you guys have y'all space and I have mine, It is what it is. I love you guys, but I don't ignore the difference. So I do practice different things. So Maya Certainty in Islam, and I do not believe in having multiple wives stuff. So yeah, I like to be one woman with one man, and that one man want me, not many women. I do not like that. So yes. Anyway, I just said that I'm single, I'm unmarried, and I'm not pregnant. I also let people know that I mind my own business, because it's true. Also minding my own business. The reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because at times I can be an open book, but I have to trust people when I open up. But at the same time, some stuff is not people's business, and this right here is out. This is public, so anybody could just look up Latonian Dunson, see female, see where my parents are, my ancestors, on the Nanticoke and Kuskarahoke website, the genealogy website. So that's public. However, I'm just saying, I know me because I'm with me 24/7. I know who I am. So, like with anything, we can get ourselves right, but when we talk about other people, we gotta be a little bit more diligent, ask questions, and get people right. So, I'm just letting you know who I am so you can understand the student and the teacher a little bit better, connect on a deeper level. Okay? So yes, so you will see on there just Latonian Johnson female, and my second legal birth name was not put, but it is Jasmine with a Z, and my religion is Mayosi in Islam. I've never been a Christian in my life, although I do have the ability to read the Bible, and studied a little bit of Judaism. So I've studied multiple religions. I've never been one to not learn about others. However, I do have my own faith and beliefs, and I'm not a Christian. And that's just a fact. So I'm just stating facts, not bringing anybody down, putting anybody down. I don't like doing that stuff. So, once again, here's my third great grandparents, so Latonian's ancestors, Latonian Ms.Dunson. This is my Nanticoke heritage right here. David W. Wright and his wife, Emily Caroline Johnson Wright, Nanticoke before the death of David W. Wright in 1913. And this was the screenshot I took from North America Indigenous Histories on Facebook. Also, again, my cousin Stacy Bliss, also goes by Stacy Ricketts. She has more images of her ancestors. And yeah, so we share the same third great ancestors, third great grandparents. And then I just liked it seeing our Nanticoke women dancing, so I just posted the old time 1926 screenshot I took from Facebook, the Indigenous Histories of North America, Nanticoke women dancing at the annual Thanksgiving powwow at Oak Orchard Community in Sussex County, Delaware, 1926. So in closing, I appreciate my ancestors for keeping traditions going. I, Latonian, have been slowly reintroduced to my father's side, and my language journey beginning in 2013. Today is the year 2025, and actually right now that I'm speaking, today's date is June 24th, 2025. Alright, so yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's that Nanticoke slogan. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. That's it. I have nothing more to say. I just wanted to share this with you guys for the final prayer insights that were very personal to me. I showed people who I have loved and I have lost in some shape or form. Either they passed away or they're still living, or they're just at a distance from me. But yeah, it is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I shared. If I have any errors, I pray that God helps me to remove errors and to speak better in Lenape, speak better Muncie, Wanami, and Nanticoke, and to increase me in knowledge and increase me in protection. May those who surround me be really for me, to my face, behind my back, and all four directions. If not, be removed. That's it. So, Bishkanawash, Bishkanawashamo, Wamoanik. Take care. See you all again.